Saan ka man dalhin ang kapalaran, iisang bayan lang sa puso mo'y naman Iinan at babalikan, konting tiis na lang, at hanggang sa araw na yan ay asal. Kami nandito lang, sabay na pakinggan ang mga kwento nyo. Isigaw natin sa mundo, bagong bayani namin kayo. Sipag at tapang nyo, hinialay sa mundo, sinasaludo namin kayo. Pilipino, itaas ang noo, ipagmalaki mo ang galing nyo, isigaw sa mundo.
Magandang hapon Europe, magandang gabi Pilipinas, at kung saan man po kayo naroroon, magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Ihahatid namin sa inyo ang iba-ibang kwento ng mukha ni Juan sa special program live streaming JUANEUKONEK Kontra Corona here on Facebook and on YouTube. Ako po si Rose Eclarinal. Samahan niyo kami sa mga natatanging kwento ng mga Pinoy sa Europa na mag-iiwan ng aral, impormasyon, ngiti at pag-asa.
Ito po ang kwentong Pinoy, kwentong migrante, kwentong Juan, Eukonek, Kontra Corona. I'm Gene Alcantara.
For our Kontra Corona project, the National Lottery Community Fund is graciously funding this project to serve the Filipino communities in England, UK, and beyond. We have an interesting topic today, mental health and well-being. We will be joined by award-winning London psychiatrist Dr. Farhana Mann and entrepreneur Catherine van der Tol, who is based in the Netherlands. She will share her journey as she battles anxiety and depression caused by the challenges in her business during the pandemic. And Gene, what do we have for Immigration 101?
Okay, Rose, makakasama natin ngayon ang batang-batang magkabiyak ng puso na si JP at Princess Walls. Dahil Irish Pinoy si JP, madali niyang nadala sa UK ang kanyang misis na si Princess. At ngayon ay binubuo ng dalawa ang kanilang mga pangarap dito sa kabila ng Brexit. Abangan po natin yan mamaya.
Maraming salamat, Gene. Today, we will tackle mental health during the pandemic. Our guest is Dr. Farhana Mann, an award-winning psychiatrist in London and Wellcome Clinical Research Fellow at University College London or UCL. She's part of the Back on Your Feet program by the Kaizen Academy for Sports Development, an expert on loneliness and mental health. She has 3 kids of her own. Good afternoon, Dr. Mann.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi there. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Is it snowing in your place in London?
It is snowing right outside the window, yes.
That's great. So now we start with the business. The lockdown means different rhythm of life for us. While it's a chance to be in touch with others in different ways than usual, for many people, the lockdown also poses a big, huge mental challenge emotionally and mentally. Please give us a general picture of the current mental state, shall we speak of that, or well-being of people and families in the UK during the lockdown?
Yes, absolutely. I think one of the biggest priorities needs to be how we handle the sort of mental health fallout of all of the things that are happening here in the UK. One of the ways people are trying to do that is to do sort of studies, some of which are led by UCL, to try to measure the kind of, as you say, the mental state or the mood across the country, across different groups of people. And one of the things that has come up is that for some people, they found ways to make things work. And actually, for some people, they found their anxiety or depression has improved. But for a lot of people, especially young adults, mums at home with kids, or people who've experienced difficulties with their employment, their problems like anxiety or depression, those kinds of things that they might not have had before, seem to be going up. But we won't really know exactly what it all means until things start to settle and we see whether these are long-lasting changes or whether things will improve over time. So all of that data is still being collected, but it seems like we might see an increase in problems like anxiety and depression, and also thinking about staff who might be working in the hospitals or frontline, the trauma, so that sort of worry about people who might experience things like post-traumatic stress, are all things that we have to be actively thinking about.
Wow, that's huge task for you, for people like you in
Yes.
the future. In as much as mental health is important to parents who are juggling between work and household duties, how important is the mental well-being of children, especially now that we are on a lockdown again and it's online learning for children?
I mean, personally, I've been a psychiatrist now for many years. I've been a doctor for 15 years. And one of the things that I've taken away most is that one of the most important things we can do is support families and young children, because what you do for kids early on really does have a positive impact on them later on in life if you kind of put that time in. So I think it's really important that families get support. But if you are a parent in this situation, I'm a parent myself, and we've all got different levels of resources around us and to draw on. One of the things to keep in mind is that this is an abnormal and extraordinary situation. So if you are a parent who's struggling with a lot, first of all, you're not alone, even though we've all experienced different things. This is an unusual time. So your expectations of what you might be able to do or how much you'll get done with your work and the kids need to be realistic. I think people can put a lot of pressure on themselves to function at the same level they were before the pandemic. And that's just impossible, even for the most amazing parent. So allow yourself to change what the priorities are from day to day. And remember that things like exercise, getting adequate sleep, and spending time together as a family are all things that will actively help your kids be healthy, more resilient grown-ups. So sometimes you worry that's a waste of time. We've just got to do the work, get the work done. You know, we haven't got time to go out for a walk. We haven't got time for those things. They're not important, but they really, really are. And as someone who sees adults with mental health problems later on, it's those things. Of course, education's important, but those other things like exercise, sleep, quality time with your family, trying to do what you can to reduce the stress. So just reduce the number of things you try to get done to the most important things can really have a beneficial effect on their mental health. And the biggest thing I think a lot of people find is they've lost the support they might have had. You know, for example, grandparents or other people you might have been able to rely on, you now can't because it's just not safe to do so, or it's just impossible. So what you can try and be creative with that. You know, if you can arrange for other people who might be free to come onto Zoom and maybe teach the kids one thing so it gives you a bit of a break so you can do something else, or make use of screen time that you might not have before if it's something useful that they can learn with. Let the school know what you're juggling with or what the struggles are so that they can support you. But don't feel guilty about that, because you absolutely need to do that for yourself and keep well. And the most important thing if you're a parent is to look after your own health. So your own physical health, all those same things, lowering the standards, making some time, if you can, to just take a break and relax, even just 10, 15 minutes a day, plus trying to connect with friends, because some people find themselves more lonely than they might have been before. If you have to do that remotely, obviously, then that still counts. And if it does get too much, remember that it's perfectly fine to talk to someone like a GP if you're feeling that actually the stress is getting too much and you can't manage.
Okay. And what are the signs that we need to watch out for if we have a loved one that needs help?
So thinking about grown-ups, about parents, if you're worried about someone or yourself, the kinds of things to think about if we're thinking about, say, depression or anxiety, which is when a lot of stress is constantly playing on your mind. It's normal to worry, so that doesn't mean you have a disorder. But if it gets to the point where the usual things that might help you relax are just not working, you're not able to enjoy the things you would normally enjoy. And when you try to sit down and relax, it's still on your mind and you can't seem to shift it. You can't seem to let go of the thoughts. Other things that may happen is that your sleep is disturbed. You may be waking up a lot earlier than you normally do, or having difficulty getting to sleep at all, despite trying all the usual things. Other things, difficulty concentrating. If you've got a lot of worries on your mind, or you're getting more anxious and worried, concentration can be quite difficult. And also energy levels and your motivation. And so if you find all those things are actually getting too much, you've tried the usual things, you can't seem to get it to work, you've talked to people around you, it's not helping, then that's a good sign. It would be helpful to talk to somebody like a GP, for example, because they're all still working and they can happily, chat with you on the phone, and it's a perfectly valid reason, and they will expect people to reach out in this situation, and they can help you figure out what you might need to do. And it might not be medication, it might be some sort of self-help or therapy, or it might mean medication. But once you talk to them, you can start to figure it out, and things hopefully then will improve.
Dr. Farhana, you are also involved in the Back on Your Feet program by Kaizen Academy for Sports Development. So you're leading the way of the mental well-being side of the project. Tell us more about it.
So yes, I am delighted, very excited to be involved in this project, which is to support families who've been affected by coronavirus, get the chance to get their kids active or get themselves active. I think it's kind of across the age range. And so they can access free karate classes online by fantastic karate trainers and led by amazing Marie, who's a mum herself, and they've done it. They've really adapted, and you can do loads online. And I think we're really learning how much you can connect, and it's offered to families across. I'm pretty sure across the UK. There's a number to text, and you just sign up and you join, and you get both the physical health content, but then I'm around to try and do some sort of basic psychological well-being, mental health support for the kids and for the parents every now and then. And it runs over 12 weeks, and I've joined a few, and it's been fantastic.
Great. And what would be your advice to maintain sanity and happy atmosphere during the lockdown, especially for working parents who are, managing that time to work as well as to supervise the online learning of their children?
First of all, I feel your pain. I've got 3 kids myself. So well done, and well done. It's, I think we talk a lot about key workers and people like that. All of us are doing a massive bit for keeping things going, keeping the country going, keeping our families going, and you're doing a huge task for your family. But don't lose sight of the most important things, and this is scientifically, and I do my research in the field of loneliness and mental health at UCL. The most important things people talk about, throughout their lives, and what we know scientifically keeps you healthy, are meaningful connections, healthy relationships, exercise, sleep, all of those things. Now, I'm not saying that will solve all your problems, but absolutely focusing back to those things. If there's too much to get done from the schoolwork and you've done your best and it's just not going well on this particular day, let the school know. You can always pick it up the next day. Don't expect yourself to do too much. Focus on those core things about mood, about sleep. And remember that for some people, it can be a really special time because you get more time to be with your family. If you have to let go, I did it on Friday. They didn't attend a chess class. We went to the park because it was sunny. It's okay. And I would say, allow yourself that space to breathe and be with your kids. And remember, that's what's most important.
Thank you so much. We will be back after this teaser to answer some of your questions. Diyan lang po kayo. You're still watching JUANEUKONEK at kasama pa rin po natin si Dr. Farhana Mann. At babasahin natin ang ilang tanong, Jean, para sagutin ni Dr. Mann. Do you have some of those questions?
Well, actually, most of the comments are very positive comments, no? Their feedback, about how well detailed the explanations were and how interesting a topic this is for people to learn how to deal with their own health and well-being. So I have a question for Dr. Farhana, if you don't mind. The Filipino community uses social media a lot,
Mm.
express their feelings rather than maybe, I don't know, going to a doctor or a specialist like you when they obviously suffer from coronavirus symptoms or when sadly somebody dies. So what do you think is the significance of, well, Facebook, especially in this case?
So social media is a fascinating topic, as you'll know. I mean, the reality is, in terms of what we know about the research on social media and mental health, we're still learning. Because if you think about it, many of our studies we do over years, and we see, well, you know, how long does it take for these things to impact on people? So they take a bit of time. And social media hasn't been around as long as some of the other things we've studied. What we do know is what seems to be most important so far in determining what happens to your mental health when you're using social media is not necessarily how much time you spend on it or which particular social media you use or that sort of thing, but rather how and why you're using it. So if somebody's on Facebook and they do it because they enjoy keeping in touch with their grandkids, they look forward to sharing posts, they're happy seeing what other people are doing, and they don't feel like it's sort of taken over, and they're not comparing themselves with other people, then they actually seem to be doing pretty fine. They come out of those periods feeling happier. The difficulty is when social media becomes something that sort of determines how you're feeling, in that you go on social media, you compare yourself with other people, or your news feed is full of things that make you feel worse, and then you end up going back and checking it, and actually it's a spiral that makes you feel worse and worse and affects your self-esteem. And especially with a lot of young people, including kids who are on it, who aren't used to sort of getting information from other places where I might have as a child. And also, if it's replacing the time you spend with real people, then that's when it's more of a problem. If you have an active social life with your family and friends, and you use Facebook on the side to keep in touch, that doesn't seem to affect anybody badly. If you are replacing the time, instead of making social connections, or you don't feel confident enough to make real friends, and in that case you spend time on social media constantly comparing yourself, then that can have a much more negative effect on how people are feeling in their mood.
Great, okay. Thank you so much.
Yes, and the other bit, because I think you mentioned earlier about obviously dealing with kids, and you have 3 of those.
Yes.
Presumably that includes conflict management and all that. But what about the adults in an adult relationship? What suggestion do you have for people to deal with living 24/7 or sitting 24/7 with somebody?
Yeah, I'm still working on it. But I think it's a fantastic question, because, as I said before, it's a very unusual situation, and you can find yourself, even with the happiest of marriages, kind of constantly in each other's faces. And so, first of all, don't be too terrified. It is normal for you to find yourself a little bit more irritable, and all of those things. So just allowing yourself the permission to recognize it is quite normal that you will have those moments. And then I think to take stock and recognize, first of all, don't make any massive decisions if you can avoid them, depending on what the level of conflict is, about things like marriages or relationships, because it's such an unusual time. And it may be that things will settle and improve over time. But one useful thing you can do is make sure that you do set aside quality time. It's very difficult to do, but if you actively do it, even once a week, where, for example, if it's a marriage or you're in a relationship, where you don't do the kids stuff, where you try and re-establish a sort of date night type thing. It's a very obvious suggestion, but it allows you to reconnect and focus on the things that you like about each other, and move away from the context and the stress of what's going on, and turn off the news. Not your news, obviously, but turn off the other news, because sometimes having that constant negative cycle of information can be really unhelpful. So take time away from it all. Get out into nature. I mean, there are studies that actively show even just 2 hours of spending time out walking in nature a week is enough to improve your mental health. So try and do those things together, but it takes planning, and make the time to do it, because it is worth it.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rose.
So much. Thank you so much, Dr. Farhana Man, for everything that you have shared with us. Maraming salamat po. Magbabalik po ang JUANEUKONEK. Nagbabalik po ang JUANEUKONEK. Ngayon, makakasama naman po natin live mula sa Amsterdam, the Netherlands. Siya ay Dutch-Pinay na negosyante, Catherine van der Tol. She was former marketing and business specialist of Moxie, a footwear brand. Ang ibabahagi naman niya sa atin ngayong hapon ay yung karanasan po niya. Again, nandito pa rin tayo sa ating topic na mental health. Magandang hapon, Catherine.
Hi,
Okay.
Catherine.
Oops, I think you have to unmute yourself.
Oo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yes, kumusta ka
Kumusta?
na, Catherine?
Okay lang. Getting better.
Okay. So
Getting
tell us
better.
muna. Tell us about your journey into starting a business with your husband in the Philippines. Kasi nakilala natin Jean si Catherine when I was doing story in the Netherlands. Part siya ng Filipino community doon. And after living in Amsterdam for many years, nagdesisyon silang mag-asawa na bumalik sa Pilipinas para doon manirahan at magsimula ng negosyo. So you started Moxie. It's a
Yes.
footwear brand at matagumpay siya. You started the business. It was very successful. But during the pandemic, nagkaroon ng challenge yung kumpanya.
Yes. So I start from the time that we moved to the Philippines. The reason we moved to the Philippines is because at that time I wasn't feeling happy anymore here in the Netherlands. So I felt like I'm working. I did my stuff here, but it's like I'm not home. So I had some kind of depression already then because I had IVF pregnancy and I got miscarriage. And then we decided to go back to Asia to actually take a rest and take things slow. But because my husband and I were both entrepreneurs, so we finally decided to start a business there. And yeah, we just continue doing business, and yeah, we start embracing it, the new opportunities and the challenges, and it was okay until we started having this pandemic. So things gradually change and affect also my my mental health at the same time.
Mm-mm. So, Catherine, naikwento mo na yung naranasan mong anxiety was related to your business kasi nga hindi na kayo nag-produce ng sapatos, ng footwear, at mayroong mga commitment na kailangan kayong ibigay at on the side of those supplier, hindi rin sila nakapag-deliver because nga of the pandemic. And that was the time na parang downhill na yung yung mental state mo, yung mental health mo because you had a lot of anxiety.
Yes. We started kasi that was March when finally, I think that was March 16 in the evening when they announced on the group chat from the Shangri-La group that we are not going to open the store already next day. So we're not prepared. So all our inventory, our computers and everything is inside the store. So we cannot do much about it. So we just have to deal with what we have. But at the time, the manufacturer in the Philippines, in Marikina, also stopped producing because the people are scared to go to work because, you can be, you can get the disease by contacting to other people. So we decided to slow it down. So finally, we don't produce. So we just have to live with what we have. And I have another business that we focus on, that is the food business. So we try to live with what we make there to be able to pay the salary, the operation, and other costs. But it's never enough, because we have a lot of costs. And then later on, the lockdown continues. So I'm getting a little bit nervous already, and I don't know what to do. Until the Dutch embassy sent a letter that if I want to join the repatriation flight, April 1 evening when I got the letter, and April 2 I have to fly. So I was nervous. I don't know what to do. So I talked to two of my key employees and told them exactly how I felt at that night. And if I will go, we might close for a while until everything is better, or if they want to continue and take over my responsibility. And they agreed to take the responsibility. So we're still doing it till now that I'm working remotely. So I thought it was getting better, and then it comes the typhoon Ulysses,
Yeah.
and we had a big flood,
Mm-mm.
and all our inventory in the factory, because we already start producing, and all our raw materials was taken away by the water. So it's another challenge again on, that comes to me, and I have to deal with that.
Mm.
So it's kind of challenging year to 2020 for us.
Mm-mm. Okay.
So yeah,
So,
so the anxiety is still very high till
mm-mm.
now, and I'm seeing a doctor, of course, for this.
For that. Okay. But before that, Chad, can we please show some of the product of Catherine? Kasi Jean, I wanted to show that. Kasi masyado talaga siyang involved into the design, packaging of the shoes, no? So it would be nice if we can show some of the photos of that, and also an opportunity for you, Catherine, to steady your camera.
I don't know. I don't know what. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I'm holding it because I have no place that doesn't have so much light. So I have
I
to.
know.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's hard.
So, Chad, do you have the photos of Catherine? Kasi ang gaganda ng sapatos niya. And also, they're not only beautiful, but they're comfortable. So,
And
kung
Rose,
makita
are
mo,
they available here
Uh,
in Europe?
Online, yes, we do a global
Online,
delivery.
okay.
Yeah,
Mm,
we have a
Good.
website. Yeah, to deliver it.
okay. Sige. While waiting for the photos that Chad is supposed to flash, and we will not end this segment without those photos because interesting, magaganda yung shoes. And nag-London Fashion Week yan si Kath, Paris,
Paris.
was it Paris? Yes?
At San Sebastian Film
Not
Festival.
that
Yeah.
one. Although,
Oh yeah.
also,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yan mga shoes niya, they're very comfortable. See? And sino yung nagde-design yan, Kath?
My husband is a product developer. He's really into shoe business, so he used to make shoes for Nine West and Dun London.
Mhm.
And he actually studied product development. So yeah, this is really his forte. He's been doing it for more than 20 years now.
Mhm, mhm. Okay. So there you go, some photos of Moxie. Now, yan ang asawa ni
Yes,
Kath, si
Meno.
yes. And that's Kath also modeling the shoes.
Oh,
And
that's a Sila Tintin.
okay,
Baba.
kaibigan din natin si Christine and Julius who
Yeah.
support your business.
Yeah.
So, ngayon, naikwento mo, napag-usapan natin kung ano yung nagdulot ng anxiety sa iyo. Tell us about that journey naman. Yung panahon na naisip mo na kailangan mo na talaga ng tulong in terms of dealing with your mental health issue.
Okay, so I came to Netherlands April. I don't know how I feel. I'm lost. I cannot sleep. I cannot eat. I have no inspiration. I'm crying all the time. I'm worried. I'm shaking. All this negative feeling, and I start being very, very negative in a way that I'm thinking of things na parang hindi na siya realistic. So I start losing my self-control, self-love, and I felt like I'm nobody. I have that point that I started something and I felt like I'm losing it all. So I'm scared to lose that, because you know how hard I work for the brand. I just don't want to lose it just like that, just because of this pandemic, that everything just fall apart. So I cannot accept it in my brain. So I talked to my husband, and my husband told me maybe it's time to see a doctor just to know exactly how I feel. A friend of mine, she's a coach. She told me maybe you should check a doctor because I can see some sign that you have some kind of anxiety or maybe a depression. I don't know what it is, but it looks like that you have something else, maybe a PTSD. So it's like a post-traumatic syndrome, something like that. What I did, I went to the doctor. So I had some talk therapy that I started April until July. And then in July, I stopped because I'm getting tired of it. I felt like I'm talking myself to some kind of mental disease. So I thought like, no, this is not correct. I have to stop. I've always been strong. I will use my mind to to get over this. So I'm fighting it. But my doctor said maybe it's a post-traumatic syndrome. So I try to continue reading things about it and checking the symptoms. So checking videos and everything, and I can see similarities of my experiences to the symptoms of the post PTSD. But all I know in the beginning, PTSD is a mental illness, but actually it's not. It's a psychological wound that can come from traumatic experience of a person. Like, for example, this corona can also cause PTSD to everyone else because they used to do things that they don't do anymore. And in my case, my trauma is coming from my childhood because my father was killed. My uncle was killed, and the killer of my uncle also pointed gun on my head. Yes, I have this kind of experience. I was molested when I was 6 that I kept for myself. I never shared to anyone until now because my doctor told me I have to be open about it. So I have a lot of bad experiences or traumatic experiences that I never spoke to anyone else because I felt like I have to cover it up. I have to be successful. I have to be someone, from this painful experience. I have to be a better person. So that's what I do. I focus on that, on building myself. But the doctor said it's like some kind of how do you call this, timba, when you have kasi sabi sa Dutch MR, pag yung timba mo daw is puno na siya,
you
it
have
will,
to,
yeah, it's overflowing na. So
you have to unburden yourself by
yes.
offloading.
So the new information, any experiences, you cannot accept it fully na. Kasi your brain cannot accept it anymore. You have so much in it, and you are battling. So you have this feeling that you are not happy, even though there are happy things happening in front of you. You cannot have the right emotion anymore because you're full. You cannot accept any more information. So I have to go to an institute to deal with that, and now we are doing the EMDR therapy. This is a light therapy. So that's the explanation of it. It's like your brain is like a computer, and your brain has a virus, and they have to take out that virus away from your brain so you can get new information to function again as it is, as normally. So when you're happy, you're happy. You can get the right emotion at the right moment. Because for me now, it's like I don't have the right emotion for what's happening around me. I am more scared. I get confused easily. I get really upset very easily, and I think really negative about a lot of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I hope that you're happy while talking to us. Nakakapagpasaya naman kami.
Medyo,
Sa'yo
actually,
ka.
ninenervyos ako in a way na I am not, I don't normally share my emotion, because I advocate being a strong woman, entrepreneur, creating leaders. This is how I look at it for myself. Like, I have to be an inspiration, but how can you inspire someone if you yourself, you're losing it? So what I do my EMDR therapy, and now I'm studying online. It's about coaching and leadership. So that's also one way for me to refocus, like what the doctora said. You have to think of something that can improve your mindset also.
Which is very related, Jean and Catherine, dun sa pinag-usapan namin ni Dr. Farhana na kailangan talaga, don't put pressure too much on yourself, especially during the lockdown.
Yes.
Kasi naman talaga, unprecedented times itong nangyari sa atin. So I think because you have been successful in whatever you were doing in the past, maging sa pag-start mo ng negosyo mo, so you have set the bar too high.
Yes.
Na hindi na natin siya magagawa ngayon because of the pandemic.
Yes. That's the challenge.
One thing I want to say to you, Catherine, is I admire how you were able to share. May mga ilang comments din dito na nag-admire ang tao Kasi nga, senior mo dito yung, ika nga, innermost thoughts and issues sa buhay mo. Na nakaka-inspire din kasi may mga tao dito na nagtitiis lang, ika nga.
Yes.
Sabi nga ni Dr. Farhana, di ba, marami siyang in-advise, pero just coming out like that with what you went through is already something. So I think we can, well, hopefully Rose and Catherine, we can have something similar in the UK to help other Pinoys who maybe are going through the same things.
Yes, that's true. And it's hard kasi Jean ngayong panahon, it's hard to reach out because syempre wala nga yung face-to-face meeting with people. So lahat, kahit yung pakikipag-usap mo sa mga kaibigan mo or even your family, you have to set time for it online, Zoom. So challenging talaga. But you see, the way to unburden yourself is through talking. Di ba pag may kasabihan, a problem shared is a problem halved. Yung naikwento mo lang yung problema mo na parang nakalahati na, nabawasan na kaagad yung kung ano man yung dinadala mo. So I think that's very, very important. So thank you for sharing your story. Actually, Jean, matagal ko nang na-interview si Catherine in the Netherlands at saka yung about her business. Pero yung personal na kwento ng buhay niya, ngayon
Never
ko
say.
I never
say.
That's the very first time I'm hearing that aspect of her life. And kung hindi mo sinabi, Catherine, hindi ko yan malalaman. And also, what I got from it is this. Sa lahat ng matatagumpay na tao, lalo na sa mga babae, hindi nila mararating yung tagumpay na yan kung wala silang mga pinagdaanan. Yung may mga challenges na nilampasan sa buhay nila. And you're an example of that. Yung challenge na sa buhay mo, Kath, you were able to make something so positive out of them. But during the lockdown, you have to look after yourself.
Yeah, I'll try my best.
Hard on yourself, yes.
Now, there's something about this that made me realize that I have to speak, because when I was in the Philippines, that was last year, a friend of mine in the Netherlands, they have a relative in the Philippines. And then she's a young girl. It's an adopted sister of them. But she was very noisy in social media. So it's just like, she's putting all the time, it's enough. I'm fed up of this life. No one helps me. And, a lot of her relatives and friends, they told her na she's a drama queen. She's looking for attention. And, you're just doing it to yourself. You're overacting. She don't get the right love and attention. And you know what happened to that girl? She committed suicide.
Oh,
yes. So that's why I'm talking, because a lot of people with mental challenges, they think it's some kind of drama that people is trying to, you can see I'm emotional, because the thing is, the thing that we are trying, the smile that we're putting there, that is not real. Because inside it's loneliness, it's anxiety. So when you put something on social media and people call you a drama queen, that is more hurtful, because that is, smiling for us is harder than crying, because this is what we have pain, we have anxiety. And this kind of feeling we can do with the doctor, because if I have a therapy, like tomorrow I have therapy for 1.5 hours. The only thing I do is to look at the light and cry and talk, to take out all this negative emotion and to stay positive, because I see myself like I have a mission, or my purpose is to show there that, no matter how hard life is, no matter where you come from, because I came from a small village in Nueva Ecija, just a very small, simple village with a lot of farmers, and and I'm very ambitious. I do everything at my power and my skills and knowledge to go far as this. And at this point, when you're weak, people will try to pull you down and tell you, you're stupid, you're not good enough, and you better give up your business because you are the only one believing in it. a lot of things, and you just have to stay strong. You just have to believe in yourself, because you have a purpose, and your purpose is to do something that nobody does. And I just want to focus on that.
Yes. Kath, can I just read some of the encouraging message from those who are watching us today? Para naman, they're saying, Gigi Venus, Catherine, look after your well-being, most especially have faith in God. Dan Revelo, we have to learn to dance in the rain while waiting for this storm to pass. That's beautiful. And Sandy Catherine, oy, kapangalan mo pa, it's my sister. Entrust everything to God. He is our healer, be it physically or mentally. And who else? Itong may mga, I believe in you, Catherine, Marideth Manalo. Inspiring story, Catherine. Randomly binabasa ko lang siya kasi ito yung mga nakikita ko while you were talking. Who else? More power, have faith. Yan ang mga message sa'yo. From Jay, our associate producer naman, Catherine, you're an inspiration. We are so grateful for your trust in us to share your personal experience. Marie Fairbank is waving. So, there, yun ang mga, I think, yun ang mga na-inspire mo today, Catherine, for sharing your story with us.
If I may add, Catherine, as a fellow entrepreneur, these are difficult times for us, and of course for your business. I mean, my own business talaga is suffering. Not just me, but a lot of people. People are losing their jobs. The big businesses are collapsing. But I'm hoping that we will all be able to recover. In fact, what they're saying is that the mail order businesses. So if you're doing that, really is the way of the near future. So hopefully makarecover ang business mo. And para tsaka sabi nga nila, ina-admire nila yung mga sapatos mo kanina. So siguro kailangan ma-market lang para makita ng tao at mag-order sila.
Yes. Kasi, Jean, kasi si Kath at saka yung Moxie, they were on the top of their game nung nangyari yung pandemic. It was really, it was happening. And biglang nagkaroon ng pandemic. So ito yung mga hindi natin kontrolado. Another message here from Dennis and Joan Marquez, kaibigan ko. Biglang nawala. Well done, Kath. Kaya mo yan. We have our own stories too. Totoo yan. So lahat ng mga nakikinig sa atin, may kanya-kanyang kwento. Balikan ko kanina si Dr. Farhana about yung mga simple lang during the lockdown sa bahay mo. For example, yung tanong ni Jean kanina na yung challenges ninyo na mag-asawa. In the beginning of the lockdown, parati kami nag-aaway ng asawa ko sa space, sa pag-manage ng anak namin kasi gusto niya parang yung lahat ng follow namin yung schedule. And then ako naman, nape-pressure din ako to do that. I-follow namin lahat yung schedule niya and all. But, they can only take so much kasi nga online lahat yung learning. So, yun parati yung clash namin. So, I decided na pabayaan mo na lang yung let go of it. Ano ba naman yung mawawala if you miss that class of hindi niya natutunan ito and all that? Exactly what Dr. Farhana said kanina. Pag nandun na kami sa point na because sa tension sa trabaho na mag-argue kayo, lalabas na lang kami. So now, we're all happy. Kasi kanya, we decided magtatrabaho kami sa kanya-kanyang kwarto, and even my daughter works on her own small space. Pag tapos na siya, then she will just tell us. And then we'll have a walk in the park. Maglalakad kami just to unwind, and then back to our grind. So yung little things like that, baka sinasabi ng mga tao na walang pinagdadaanan yung iba, kanya-kanya po tayo ng pinagdadaanan. Kanya-kanya tayo ng challenges. Yung iba nga lang kumbaga mas malalaki yung hamon na hinaharap nila. But even the smallest of challenges, for some people it's big. It's just a matter of how you will address that issue in your life. Okay?
Sabi nga ni J. Montelibano Macloyd,
McLeod.
McLeod.
Oh, that makes me laugh.
Catherine, virtual hugs daw.
Ano daw? Virtual hug.
Virtual hugs.
Okay, yes. Okay. Uy, Kath, ang ganda ng iyong place. Is that your old house?
No. I'm temporarily leaving here. We're moving soon. So yeah, we got the studio. A friend of mine offered a studio to stay here for a while because I came. We're not really thinking of moving, and and we checking a place already, and we will move soon.
Oh, great. So now, marami kang na-inspire na mga nanonood sa atin, ng mga kababayan natin. Hopefully makakuha sila ng strength from you. Don't give up. Yan ang mga natutunan natin ngayong hapon. Ano yung syempre hindi pa tapos yung journey mo, Kath, and we will hopefully pag natapos na yung therapy mo, we will have you back on the show. Ano yung gusto mong i-share? Ano yung gusto mong maybe yung payo na pwede mong ibigay sa mga kababayan natin na nasa katulad mong sitwasyon?
Okay, what I've learned in this pandemic, because when I came here, we decided, actually not me, but a group of friends in Manila form a prayer group. So we have a Bible study every Thursday online. That's 1 hour of reading Bible and talking about personal experiences. There we can cry, we can share some of our struggles. I have few friends that I talk with. I am very selective with energy I let in my life now. So I only talk to people that will inspire me, that will help me understand the thing that I'm going through, and people that want to dream with me. People that think that everything's still possible after this. So I'm very, very selective with energy that I let into my life at the moment. I study to gain more knowledge, to get new inspiration. I stay active because I'm working one to 2 days to another company here in the Netherlands. It's also a shoe company. They built their company in 1856. So I'm working for them in the retail and e-commerce side, but I only work 1 day in a week. It's more about gaining new knowledge and using it for my business as well. And actually, my scholarship for coaching and leadership is from them. They give it to us because now you cannot work that much, so you stay home. So you have something else to do. So I think for every I know that every Filipino have their own story, especially those abroad, because we're living in a country that is not familiar to us. So we get a lot of, maybe even racial discrimination. At times we still feel that. So we just have to be strong, choose the kind of people we want to surround ourselves with. With the social media use, what I do, I keep on inspiring, even though, maybe for a lot of people, this is not inspirational, but I know I can inspire some people because I will get message randomly like, Miss Kat, thank you for putting that. You inspire us, So I do this for the people that wanted to be inspired, and for those that would not be inspired of it, so I don't bother anymore. So what I also do to help other people struggling, a lot of business people is struggling in the Philippines. We do this Go Negosyo live mentoring, and I do that. Last year I did it 3 times. So we talk to our fellows entrepreneurs to stay strong and find ways to thrive, because there's many opportunities, especially in this online world. So I think just stay strong, stay positive. Don't listen to the negativity because there's enough of it already. So just listen to the people that want to, raise you up and want you to be successful.
Great.
Thank you. Yeah.
Maraming salamat. Thank you, Catherine,
Thank
for
you.
sharing your story. I hope to see you face to face after
Soon.
the lockdown. 2009, huli tayo nagkita sa the
Yes.
Netherlands, sa Amsterdam, but we saw each other in London and in the Philippines.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to the Netherlands.
Yes, we will do that. We will do that.
Yes, we will do that. And
Summer.
yes, summer. And we will visit yung tulips farm, etc.
Yeah, we're gonna do a lot this summer.
Yes.
Let's stay positive.
Strong. Yes, stay strong, be positive. Lahat po tayo may pinagdadaanan ngayong pandemic. And thank you sa pagbahagi mo ng inspiring story mo sa amin. You are a strong woman. Mas lalo akong bumilib sa'yo. Kasi dati, nakikita ko lang yung front ni Catherine, successful, doing everything. Parang ang galing, Jean. Kasi when she left her job, she started her business. Tapos it became big. Now, she's sharing her story kung ano yung pinagdadaanan niya. Well done. More power to you. At sa mga nanonood po ng JUANEUKONEK, maraming salamat sa segment na inyo for your encouraging words to Catherine at sa lahat sa atin because we're all going through this journey. Magbabalik po ang JUANEUKONEK. Huwag po kayong aalis dahil Immigration 101, importante yung topic natin. Okay?
Thank you very much, Jean and Rose. Have
Thank
a nice
you.
day. Bye.
Bye. Nagbabalik po ang JUANEUKONEK at nandito na po tayo sa inaabangan ninyong Immigration 101 kung saan makakapulot po tayo ng advice, ng payo mula sa ating Immigration Consultant Gene Alcantara. At paboritong topic ko pa rin, pangangatawanan ko na Gene, Brexit. Although spouse visa po ito, pero sa panahon ng Brexit. Alam mo, Jean, let me just share with you. Siguro mga 4 na libro yung nabasa ko in Brexit. Hanggang ngayon, hindi ko pa rin siya fully naiintindihan.
Okay. I'm not surprised kasi confused ang mga tao tungkol dito. So,
Okay.
Dito sa segment na ito ng Immigration 101, Spouse Visa in Time of Brexit. Titingnan po natin kung ano ba ang mga hamon, lalo na sa isang mag-asawang nagsisimula pa lamang sa kanilang paglalakbay sa buhay dito sa United Kingdom. So, Chad? Bago nag-Brexit, maraming mga kababayan na may European nationality ang madaling nakapasok dito sa United Kingdom. Madali rin nilang dala ang kanilang mga mahal sa buhay tulad ng asawa at mga anak na hanggang 21 years old. Ngayong nasa panahon na tayo ng Brexit, siyempre po hindi na pwede basta makapasok ang mga mahal sa buhay. Pero marami naman po na nandito na at tuloy-tuloy ang kanilang buhay bilang European dahil natrigger na ang kanilang freedom of movement rights bago pa mag-Brexit. So, ganito rin po ang sitwasyon ng mga Briton o British citizens, British Filipinos na nakapasok naman sa Europa bago mag-Brexit. Yan po yung 31st of December 2020. Silipin po natin ngayon ang buhay ng isang young Irish na si John Patrick Ricciardo Walsh or JP kasama ng kanyang may bahay na si Princess Liza Padillo Walsh. Magandang araw sa inyong dalawa, JP and Princess.
Magandang araw po, Sir G.
Good morning po, Sir Jean.
Ay, kumusta kayo? Mukhang bagong gising pa yata kayo.
Medyo.
Kakagising lang eh.
I see. Okay. O sige, may mga ilang questions lang ako. No? Una, salamat kami sa inyo sa pagpapaunlak sa panayam na ito para maintindihan ng mga kababayan natin kung paano ba maging European at dependent ngayong panahon na ng Brexit. Okay. So, una muna, JP, paano ka ba nakarating dito sa UK?
Sa akin po kasi, since my father is Irish citizen po, parang, syempre nabigyan na rin ako ng citizenship na, nasikaso na yung citizenship ko ng mother ko and ng father ko simula pa nung pagkabata ko. Then, wala pa sa isip ko nun mag-abroad eh. Actually, kung gusto ko na mag-abroad is vacation, not for work, not to migrate po. Pero since nakilala ko po siya, parang syempre nag-iba na yung pananaw ko sa buhay, mas naging practical, na kung saan mas gaganda yung buhay, doon tayo. 2 years, 3 years after graduation. And as working po sa Pilipinas, na naramdaman ko po yung medyo mahirap makapag-ipon, hindi ganun kabilis. Na-inspire naman ako sabi sa akin ng mother ko and niya po na kung gagamitin mo yung citizenship mo, madali lang makaipon. May opportunity ka, hindi mo lang ginagrab. So ayun, pumunta po ako rito, ginamit ko lang yung citizenship ko and since meron naman akong tawag doon parang pass na pwede ako mag-work, anytime pwede ako tumira dito, ginab ko na yung opportunity para makapag-trabaho and mas magandang buhay.
Yeah, so nabanggit mo kanina na siyempre parang nagtulak sa inyo yung relationship, ano? So, JP, nabanggit mo kanina, no? And Princess, of course, na ang parang nagtulak sa iyo dito ay ang relationship niyo ni Princess. So, paano ba kayo nagkilalang dalawa? At gaano katagal na kayo?
Nagkakilala po pala kami sa nung college, same school. Tapos 7 years na kami sa ngayon. And
1 year as a married couple.
Yep, 1 year as married couple. Last December.
Okay. So, saan ba kayo nagpakasal?
Nagpakasal po kami sa Pilipinas pa lang po. Then, last year, 2019, December, so we decided to magpakasal po in civil para po nga mas madali akong makuha dito. Kasi before po kaming mag-decide na siya pumunta dito, we did a lot of research muna po kung ano yung mga visa na aanuhin namin, kung ano po yung since yun yung Brexit na po ngayon, nasa process na po yung Brexit noon, na brought up niya po na under EU settlement scheme kami or ako dapat mag-apply para mas madali yung namin. So yun, finalize muna namin po lahat noon, then nag-decide na po kami na magpakasal since yun po yung easiest way na para makapasok nga po ako dito. Kasi nga, direct family members po yung mas malakas na para ma-approve nga po yung visa. So nagpakasal muna kami sa Pilipinas. 1 month, nag-apply na po ako sa Pilipinas nung visa ko. And then, ayun na po, dire-diretso na yun. Then, last March 2020, dito na po ako nakapunta na po ako dito sa UK.
Okay. Okay, so tama yung ginawa nyo, no? Kasi under European law, pagkasal kayo, ang asawa is a direct family member.
Yes.
At pag nag-apply ka ng tinatawag na family permit, mabilis ang processing. Diba? So, kaya andito ka na agad noon.
Okay.
So siyempre, andito na kayo ngayon, ano? Magkasama na kayo. So si Princess, of course, hindi pa siya settled. Si JP, ilan taon ka na dito ngayon, JP? Settled ka na?
2 years po this February. Ngayon February po.
Okay. So, all right. So, alam nyo, of course, na dahil hindi pa kayo settled, you have to apply for pre-settlement status.
Applying pa lang po.
Yung pre-settled niya po kasi, siya po yung unang nag-apply last kailan ba yun? Last 2019. 2019 po siya. Then, after a few days, na-receive niya po yung email na approve nga po for pre-settled status since hindi pa nga po siya nagpa 5 years dito. And then, nung pakapunta ko po din dito, nung last March, nag-apply din po ako to get my pre-settled status. And then, approve din po agad doon. Just 1 day, I think. 1 day lang, sobrang bilis lang din po. 1 day lang po. After nung biometrics ko, a day after, na-receive ko na po yung pre-settled status ko.
Okay, ang galing. So at least okay na kayo. Ang kailangan nyo lang is mag-intay ng, in the case of JP, 5 taon. Of course, kay Princess, 5 taon din para magkaroon ng tinatawag na settlement, no? Or indefinite leave to remain.
Yan.
Okay, so anong trabaho mo sa ngayon?
Ako po, I just parang nasa NHS po ako. So, healthcare support worker po ako sa NHS, sa Nightingale, London. And then siya po,
ako naman po dun, sa ngayon as ang tawag din, yung self-employed care po sa private na actually one-on-one lang.
So, tanong ko lang, ngayong nandito na kayo pareho, anong balak nyo sa buhay? Ngayon lalo na may pandemya, no? So, may Brexit, may pandemya, pero at least tuloy-tuloy ang buhay nyo. So, anong plano nyo sa ngayon?
Sa ngayon po, yung nag-iipon muna po kami kasi balak din po kasi namin magpakasal ulit sa Pilipinas. Church wedding naman po this time. Hopefully, matapos yung COVID para ma-check po namin kung ano naman po yung sunod na plano namin.
Kung i-compare sa buhay sa Pilipinas, tama ba yung decision nyo na lumipat kayo dito?
Sobra 100% po. 3 years po ako nag-work sa Pilipinas. And parang na-compare ko din po yung sahod na binibigay yung sahod sa Pilipinas and sahod dito. And kung i-compare mo din po yung living cost dito and living expenses din po sa Pilipinas, sobrang laki po ng difference niya. And yung mga benefits din po.
Oo. Ikaw naman, JP, anong nakikita mo na yung magandang pangyayari na lumipat kayo dito?
Siguro po first of all yung experience and mas naging independent kami dalawa kumpara sa Pinas. Kasi ako nung nasa Pilipinas ako nag-work ako. Nung una nasa Maynila kami, so independent pa rin, pero yung cost of living yung sinasabi kasi we worked in a call center po sa Pilipinas, so yung sahod namin more on sa bills na pupunta. Kasi yung halimbawa gusto namin bumili ng sapatos, kailangan at least 2 months, 3 months before makabili ng sapatos na hindi nagagalaw for our savings. Pero dito, within 2 days, kaya namin bumili ng sapatos, hindi naman sa pagyan. So, yung mas naging magaan yung buhay namin dito.
Sa masipag lang, ha?
Oo, yun nga po.
Sipag lang talaga.
Sipag at syaga.
Of course, sa call center kayo dati, no? Then suddenly na bigla kayo na-translocate dito sa lugar ng ibang lahi. Ibig sabihin, kaya ba natin makipag-compete sa kanila?
Opo, walang
Kaya.
walang halong duda yun, sir. Kasi as long as kasi malakas yung loob mong makihalubilo, makisama. Kasi nakatrabaho na po ako iba-ibang nationality. So, ang number 1 na comment sa ating mga Pinoy is sobrang mababait, sobrang hardworking, sobrang magaling makisama. So, ayun po lagi yung first impression sa atin ng mga ibang lahi dito. So, ako as a first time working here and living here, parang nakaka-overwhelm kasi parang yung expectation ng sa mga Pinoy dito parang napakataas, parang ganun. Kaya parang nakakaano din na kailangan mo dapat friendly ka, dapat lagi ka nakasmile, parang gano'n. Ano pag sa iba-ibang lahi po yung nakakahalubilo mo sa work.
Kakatuwa naman. O sige, pero alam mo si JP, no? JP, you're an Irish citizen. So bilang European, you can still go to live and work in any of the 27 countries in the European Union. Pero sa ngayon, siyempre, nandito kayo. So may balak din ba kayong sumubok sa ibang bansa sa Europa?
Personally po, parang gusto namin pumunta for now. Gusto lang namin mag-travel ba,
mag-visit,
tour. Pero to work and to migrate, wala po. Mas gusto namin dito sa UK para sa England. Mas magandang opportunities dito.
Okay. Sige. So, kung may mga siyempre ngayon, no, mas mahirap pumasok dito, mahirap pumasok sa Europe. Pero siyempre, alam ko yung mga kababayan natin, lalo na yung mga nakababata pa, nag-aambisyon din sila na pumunta dito sa abroad, lalo dito sa Europa o sa UK, no? So kung may mga ganun tao, anong maipapayo ninyo?
Well, para sa akin po, depende kasi situation eh. Para sa akin, kung may opportunity sila na makapunta rito, like tulad sa akin, yung opportunity ko nun, siguro pag-isipan nilang mabuti. Tsaka mas maganda kung may opportunity silang makapag-aral dito, i-grab na nila kasi yun yung pinagsisihan ko rin since yung pinag-aralan ko doon for 4 years sa college, parang hindi ko masyado na-apply rito kasi kailangan ko mag-take ulit ng mga ganito ganyan, yung GSC, mga ganun. And yun, kung may opportunity sila, grab na nila, pag-isipan nila mabuti kung anong gusto nila sa future nila, kung yung mas makakabuti sa kanila. Then, para naman sa work, or ikaw may masabi ka ba? Para
advice ko po sa mga, actually marami din po kasi nagtatanong sa akin kung paano daw nakapunta kami dito and paano daw yung process. Kasi para sa akin, ang ina-advise ko lang po is sa amin, madali akong nakuha ni JP since citizen na nga po siya dito. And since may family member nga po ako dito, which is sa JP nga. So, ang pinaka, the best way para maka-start sila dito is, I think, yung student visa. Yung po, kung wala po talaga sila ditong kamag-anak or connection ba, so the best way na makapunta sila dito is through student visa or work visa. Work visa. So, I think if destiny mo talaga kasi po na nandito ka sa kung destiny mo talaga yung isang bagay, ibibigay sa iyo yan ni Lord eh. Kahit ano man na hiccups or any pagsubok na bibigay sa iyo, kung sa iyo talaga po yun, para talaga sa iyo yun. Diba? Yan po.
Alright. Okay, so maraming salamat JP at Princess sa panayam natin ngayon upang ma-appreciate nga ng mga manonood natin kung paano ba ang buhay dito post-Brexit at ng isang batang mag-asawa. At sa good luck sa buhay ninyo at sa inyong mga balak sa mga darating na araw. At mag-ingat kayo kasi may pandemya. Okay, so salamat.
Thank you po. Ingat din po dyan.
Sige, thank you. At yan po ang buhay at kwento sa ngayon ng isang European at ng kanyang may bahay dito sa United Kingdom. Sana po ay may napulot kayong aral at impormasyon na maaari ninyong magamit kung sakali pong nagbabalak din kayong mga ibang bayan. Maraming salamat po at hanggang sa muli.
Nagbabalik po ang JUANEUKONEK, Immigration 101 po tayo, kasama pa rin si Gene Alcantara. Gene, may tanong ako, quick question.
Sige.
So ano yung sikreto sa tagumpay ng pag-apply ni JP at ng asawa niya?
Actually, alam mo, ang pinaka-magic dyan is he is European. So, before Brexit, ang European, napakalakas ng power sa immigration. Kaya, well, unfortunately, nireject ng UK. No? But actually, yung power na yun, on the other hand, halimbawa ako, Briton, lumipat tayo sa Europe, yung power ni JP, makukuha din natin kung tayo lilipat sa Europe. So it works
Both ways.
Oh, it works both ways. Kaya lang, people prefer to stay here. And
So kasi alam mo, nung ina-apply niya yung kanyang visa para sa spouse niya, hindi, parang may doubt ako na makukuha niya kaagad. But ngayon na binahagi na yung kwento na nandito na yung asawa, na shock talaga ako, nagulat ako kasi si JP talaga pursigido siya na madala dito yung asawa niya kasi nga yung first year niya dito, sobra siyang na homesick. Magkahiwalay sila, umuwi siya doon, tapos nagpakasal sila, and nadala niya dito. So ang tanong, Jean, ngayong panahon ng Brexit, mawawala na yan sa mga European.
Okay, so yung kay JP, actually in-advise ko si JP kung anong gagawin. So kaya alam niya kung ano talagang steps.
Sinunod niya yung payo mo, and well done.
So yeah, achievement natin. But so yung question mo naman, until June 2021, kung nandito na ang partner mo or may kukunin ka, actually pwede mo pa ilaban eh. Pero after June 2021, talagang wala na. So sino ang kukuha? Hindi, sabihin, may kukunin ka, you can do that na lang under British immigration law. Hindi na yung mabilis sa European.
Okay, but you're saying na hanggang June, pwede pa as European?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so may pag-asa. May pag-asa pa. No, because na-inspire ako doon sa storya ni JP kasi nung nag-uusap tayo noon ng mga pinag-uusapan yung problema niya, hindi talaga ako kampante na makukuha niya yung asawa niya. And all of a sudden, parang slap on my face, eto, nakuha niya kaagad. Kasi nga akala ko, pag Brexit na, mahihirapan na. But totoo yun. Dahil nga doon sa Brexit extension, nadala ni JP yung asawa niya. Doon sa transition period, not extension. Doon sa transition period na binigay sa atin ng European Union, doon niya nadala yung asawa niya. Okay, bago ko makalimutan, hindi po natin pwedeng palampasin ang tanong ng ating taga-subaybay, Mids Merabueno Dagamak, ang kaibigan natin mula sa Davao. Sir Gene, ask ko lang, a friend of mine got asylum card and he stayed here for 20 years this coming October. May opportunity po ba na mag-grant siya ng leave to remain?
Okay, so actually dalawa yung questions dyan para kay Mids. So Mids, yung unang question mo is yung asylum card. So kung yung friend mo ay nag-apply ng asylum at pinaprocess pa, ibig sabihin yung meron siyang asylum card na sinasabi nag-apply siya. So safe siya hanggat hindi pa nadedesisyonan. Pero kung nasabi mo na nag-grant na yung asylum niya, dapat bibigyan siya ng 5-year card at the end of which pwede na siyang maging indefinite leave to remain. Okay? Ngayon, yung pangalawang question mo dito is he stayed here for 20 years this coming October. So magdadalawampung taon na siya sa Oktubre. Okay, so kung hindi pa approved yung asylum niya, ang suggestion ko sa kanya, by September, handa na niya lahat ng mga documents niya na magpapatunay na siya itumira dito mula noong 20 years ago. A few documents lang, bawat taon, at mag-apply na siya ng tinatawag na leave to remain under long residence. Pwede siyang mabigyan ng leave to remain at after 10 years under that, makakakuha na siya ng indefinite leave to remain. Okay.
So Mids, pagaling ka. Sana ay nakuha mo itong sagot sa tanong mo dito sa paliwanag ni Jean, Pero magandang topic din ito, Jean, yung sa mga asylum seeker. We probably would have another segment on that. We had it last year, pero it would be good to revisit on that topic kasi marami tayong mga kababayan na yan din yung concern nila. Bago po tayo magpatuloy, gusto po naming i-remind kayo na kung meron po kayong immigration topic na gusto po ninyong matalakay namin, just inbox us, leave a message, at yan po ang aming mga tatalakayin sa mga susunod namin na live streaming. Huwag niyo rin po kakalimutan na next week maganda yung topic natin kasi ito yung pagdala pa rin ng mga mahal niyo sa buhay dito sa UK. I think that's it for today, Jean. Masyadong emotional yung ating segment 2 with Kath, and we had very informative segment on segment 1. And of course, happy ako na nakita ko yung success ng application ni JP. Kasi si JP po ay kasama ng team namin ng JUANEUKONEK. Siya po ay nag-assistant cameraman sa aming docu-series. So maraming salamat JP for granting us this interview, yung opportunity na ibahagi yung kwento mo sa ating mga kababayan kasi medyo mahiyain si JP. bago ko makalimutan, Jean, gusto kong batiin ay yung mami ko na nanonood. Advance happy birthday. Birthday niya sa February 9. She is in Bicol, na lockdown doon, of course. And today is the birthday also of one of my favorite uncles. Marami akong uncles. February 7, but he already passed away. He's one of my angels in heaven.
Okay. Good.
Yes? Meron ka bang mga babatiin bago tayo magpaalam? Oy, wait. Thank you, Ma'am Rose, and to JUANEUKONEK, and syempre dapat pasalamatan natin si Jean for answering the question. Mid,
Okay.
salamat din, pagaling ka, at sa magkikita-kita tayo after the lockdown. Yan po ang aming JUANEUKONEK ngayong araw na ito. Maraming salamat sa inyong pagsubaybay. Sino pa yung mga babatiin natin dito? Yung mami ni Jay, kung nakikinig po kayo o nanonood kayo, hi po. Meron po akong magandang surprise sa inyo in March. Iba na po yung background ko, mami. Okay? So wag po kayong mag-alala. Papalitan ko na yung background ko. Thank you sa mga nanonood, yung mga kaibigan natin.
Dan Revelo.
Dan Revelo, of course.
Liceran family.
Tita Nelly, thank you for watching. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. Don't forget, next week, maganda po yung topic namin. Valentine's Day, have a date with us. Magkita-kita po tayo sa susunod na linggo, Sunday, February 14. Kasama po namin kayo sa pagkonekta sa mga Pinoy sa Europa ngayong panahon ng pandemya. Ang kwento ni Juan sa Europa ay kwento ng bawat Pilipino sa iba-ibang sulok ng mundo.
Sana po ay nag-iwan kami ng aral, impormasyon, ngiti at pag-asa.
Thank you to the National Lottery Community Fund for being our funder for this project, Kontra Corona. Ako po si Rose Eclarinal.
I'm Gene Alcantara.
Hanggang sa muli sa JUANEUKONEK.
Saan ka man dalhin ang kapalaran, iisang bayan lang sa puso mo'y laman. Pinagmulan at babalikan, konting tiis na lang at hanggang